everybody. Thanks to Burnaby Pride for asking me to do another round of book talks. I'm very excited to be talking this time about representation of disability in books with LGBTQ characters. So without further ado, let's get started. It can be difficult to find literature that features both LGBTQ+ protagonists and characters with disabilities, and even more difficult to find examples by authors who are disabled themselves. But all except one of the following novels are written by authors with disabilities. Far From You by Tess Sharp. Sophie Winters nearly died. Twice. The first time she's 14 and escapes a near-fatal car accident with scars, a bum leg, and an addiction to oxy that'll take years to kick. The second time, she's 17, and it's no accident. Sophie and her best friend Mina are confronted by a masked man in the woods. Sophie survives, but Mina is not so lucky. When the cops deem Mina's murder a drug deal gone wrong, casting partial blame on Sophie, no one will believe the truth. Sophie has been clean for months, and it was Mina who led her into the woods that night for a meeting shrouded in mystery. After a forced stint in rehab, Sophie returns home to a chilly new reality. Mina's brother won't speak to her, her parents fear she'll relapse, old friends have become enemies, and Sophie has to learn how to live without her other half. To make matters worse, no one is looking in the right places, and Sophie must search for Mina's murderer on her own. But with every step, Sophie comes closer to revealing all, about herself, about Mina, and about the secret they shared. This novel features a protagonist experiencing chronic pain due to an accident. Otherbound by Corinne Davis. Amara is never alone, not when she's protecting the cursed princess she unwillingly serves, not when they're fleeing across dunes and islands and seas to stay alive, not when she's punished, ordered around, or neglected. She can't be alone, because a boy from another world experiences all that alongside her, looking through her eyes. Nolan longs for a life uninterrupted. Every time he blinks, he's yanked from his Arizona town into Amara's mind, a world away, which makes even simple things like hobbies and homework impossible. He's spent years as a powerless observer of Amara's life. Amara has no idea, until he learns to control her, and they communicate for the first time. Amara is terrified, then furious. All Amara and Nolan want is to be free of each other, but Nolan's breakthrough has dangerous consequences. Now they'll have to work together to survive and discover the truth about their connection. This novel features a deaf protagonist. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Sainz. Aristotle is an angry teen with a brother in prison. Dante is a know-it-all who has an unusual way of looking at the world. When the two meet at a swimming pool, they seem to have nothing in common. But as the loners start spending time together, they discover that they share a special friendship, the kind that changes lives and lasts a lifetime. And it is through this friendship that Ari and Dante will learn the most important truths about themselves and the kind of people they want to be. A phenomenal novel that received a Prince Award honor, a Stonewall Award, a Lambda Literary Award, and the Puerto Belpré Award. This novel features a father experiencing PTSD due to his time in the military fighting in Vietnam. Unbroken, edited by Marika Nijkamp. Warrior, actor, friend, heroine, traveler, sister, magician, lover, biker. In this stunning anthology, author Marika Nijkamp teams up with fellow disabled authors to create a collection of fictional stories that dispense with the tired, broken stereotypes and reclaim narratives and identities. By weaving together tales of interstellar war, an enchanted carnival, or a dating debacle, Unbroken celebrates the varied experiences of disabled teens, including teens of color and of diverse genders and orientations, without obscuring the realities of their disabilities. At turns hilarious and heart-stopping, these short stories share a common thread, one that has bent over time but will never break. Contributors include William Alexander, Fox Benwell, Kia Brown, Danielle Clayton, Corinne Davis, Heidi Heilig, Cody Keplinger, Catherine Locke, Karuna Riazzi, Francisco X. Stork, Kayla Whaley, and Christine Willis. When Griffin's first love and ex-boyfriend Theo dies in a drowning accident, his universe implodes. Even though Theo had moved to California for college and started seeing Jackson, Griffin never doubted Theo would come back to him when the time was right. But now, the future he's been imagining for himself has gone far off course. To make things worse, the only person who truly understands his heartache is Jackson, but no matter how much they open up to each other, Griffin's downward spiral continues. He's losing himself in his obsessive compulsions and destructive choices, and the secrets he's been keeping are tearing him apart. If Griffin is ever to rebuild his future, he must first confront his history, every last heartbreaking piece in the puzzle of his life. This novel features a character who, like the author, has OCD. Six of Crows is the first in a trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. Criminal prodigy Kaz Brecker has been offered wealth beyond his wildest dreams, but to claim it he'll have to pull off a seemingly impossible heist, break into the notorious Ice Court, a military stronghold that has never been breached, retrieve a hostage, who could unleash magical havoc on the world, survive long enough to collect his reward, and spend it. Kaz needs a crew desperate enough to take on his suicide mission and dangerous enough to get the job done, and he knows exactly who. 6 of the deadliest outcasts the city has to offer. Together, they just might be unstoppable, if they don't kill each other first. This novel features chronic pain, a character with a limp, PTSD, and addiction. It is difficult to find YA novels featuring LGBTQ+ characters and characters with disabilities, but it's even more unlikely to come across these representations in middle-grade fiction. The majority of these depictions deal with mental illness rather than physical disabilities. In light of this, I am highlighting a few favorites of mine and also noting one novel that does not feature any LGBTQ+ characters, but has solid representation of a deaf character and recently won the Schneider Family Book Award for books about characters with disabilities. Hurricane Season by Nicole Melleby. Fig knows her teacher meant well by calling Child Protective Services the day Fig's father pulled her out of class, but all it did was make everything worse. It's been just the two of them since Fig was born, and she knows how to deal with his wild mood swings. But can she convince a caseworker that things are okay? Fig adds their CPS appointment to the calendar, where she counts down the days until hurricane season is over, because her father, a once famous composer, is drawn to the music of storms, and not even Fig can reach him when they lure him down to the beach. In an effort to better understand him, she pours herself into an art project on Vincent van Gogh, finding parallels between her father's genius and erratic behavior and the painter's. Melleby's debut examines the complexities of having a parent with a mental illness and the responsibilities that kids sometimes must shoulder. Themes of trust and LGBTQ romance are incorporated into this weighty but hopeful story. Harriet vs. the Galaxy by Samantha Baines. A hilarious and heartfelt debut from multi-award-winning, hearing aid-wearing comedian, actor, and author. The intergalactic adventure starts at home with Harriet, who discovers that her hearing aid can do more than she ever bargained for when she finds an alien in her room. Discovering that her family secretly work for an intergalactic agency, Harriet becomes the Earth's first line of defense as the only one who can understand the invaders. Sure, her hearing aid helps her understand aliens from across the universe, if only she could understand her own feelings. This novel also features a non-binary secondary character. Show Me a Sign by deaf librarian and author Anne-Claire Lizotte. Mary Lambert has always felt safe and protected on her beloved island of Martha's Vineyard. Her great-grandfather was an early English settler and the first deaf islander. Now, over 100 years later, many people there, including Mary, are deaf, and nearly everyone can communicate in sign language. Mary has never felt isolated. She is proud of her lineage. But recent events delivered winds of change. Mary's brother died, leaving her family shattered. Tensions over land disputes are mounting between English settlers and the Wampanoag people, and a cunning young scientist has arrived, hoping to discover the origin of the island's prevalent deafness. His maniacal drive to find answers soon renders Mary a live specimen in a cruel experiment. Her struggles to save herself at the core of this novel. Picture books offer even fewer narratives about LGBTQ+ characters with disabilities, but these books also offer the possibility of representing disability through visuals within stories that are not about disability. Here are a couple of picture books that feature multiple disabled individuals within the context of larger stories about family, friendship, community, and pride. They, She, He, Easy as ABC by Maya and Matthew. This Day in June by Gail Pittman, illustrated by Christina Litton. The Last Place You Look by J. Wallace Skelton, illustrated by Justin Alves. It Feels Good to Be Yourself, a book about gender identity by Teresa Thorne, illustrated by Noah Greene. Thanks for joining me for another round of book talks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other questions or if you have any other recommendations of your own, I have left some contact information at the end of this video, and I look forward to seeing you all around the internet over the next while with more book recommendations to come.